I mean, it ain't quite the same rollout. You know what I'm saying? Like we usually have it with the music and shit. But you put a damper on that. But nonetheless, here we are. What's going on, big dog?
What's going on? You put a damp on that.
No. Cause see, I don't be knowing when I can play it, when I can't play it. Like you know what I'm saying?
You did that,
You be getting bougie depending on who the guest is and shit. And I just want to be
man.
authentic myself. We
Real
should
quick, are
change.
we are we
We
are
shouldn't
we
change
live?
the podcast up based on who we had, what guests we have on.
Are we live? Are we live on both pages?
We live on all of them. I just sent it. I just sent it. I just shared it to Turf Wars page. You gotta accept it.
All right, I accepted it. Are we live on the Mars page or no?
Yeah,
We ain't live. No, we ain't. We ain't live on the
shouldn't
Mars
me.
page. No, we ain't live on the Mars page. Live on the
Yeah,
Mars
stop
page.
lying, man.
I am. I'm checking it, man. We ain't live on the Mars page, man. I'm checking it. I
Play
don't. I
Mars
wouldn't.
Sports.
I wouldn't have a reason to lie to you, big dog.
It got a big check mark on it. Green dot.
It got to be the entire circle. Got to be red. Yeah, we ain't live. We ain't live on there.
Man,
Yeah, we ain't live on there, man. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you. You know, I don't know what you what tech team you working with back there, but I'm just letting you know. From the tech team said we ain't live on their page. You know, and that's all we want to do. We just want to get it live, man.
all right. Let me see. Let me see what I can do because it's definitely showing up on my end saying we live. Oh, you know
No,
what? You know what? We live on Martin Adams.
okay, okay.
Hold on. Let me
We
see
can
something.
okay.
Hold on, champ.
Shit.
I might be able to make something happen.
That boy said he able to make something shake. Then that used to be your name back in the day. Make something shake.
Nah, that wasn't me. I try it now.
Try it now.
Yeah, look at it
Um,
now.
um. Okay. Let me try it. Let me try it out now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's live now. Yeah, it's live now. So we'll also share this to the group too, just to. Yeah, man. How you been though, man?
I can't complain, man. I've been good. I've been good. Just been busy as hell these past couple weeks, man. I apologize not being able to get on and be able to do a podcast last week, fresh after Orlando. Had some things here I had to tighten up on. With it being my birthday week and all, what I'm saying, I had a lot of surprise dinners and happy hours I wasn't sure about, but what I'm saying now, my birthday is all over. I'm birthday the fuck out. I ain't gonna hold you.
Man,
And I know
look.
you've been paying attention. Well, no, because you've been kind of like, you know, off cue on social media, but I know you've been seeing all them Leo's birthdays, man. Leo's we definitely by far got the biggest kickball presence in the community. Leo is by far, man. Every time I look up, it's another Leo birthday that I didn't even know nothing about.
I don't think it's fucking with the tourists, but I could be wrong. But I
I
don't think
mean,
it's
there's
fucking with
probably
the
you and two
tourists.
other people that's tourists. That's about it.
I don't think it's fucking with the tourists, you know. But like I said, I could be wrong. But happy birthday again to you, man. You know, the goal is to be able to be around to enjoy your birthdays every year they come, and so just another year, another year, another day, another moment for you to celebrate this life, man. It's a beautiful thing. So, happy birthday again to you, man. It was a pleasure and a joy being able to hang out with you and the family in Orlando and just kind of um, uh, just be in that moment. It's dope,
Yeah,
man. So happy birthday to you again, man.
that's for sure. Even though you did me like Varnell Hill again.
I don't really want to talk about that,
Varnell Hill.
man.
I can
What
always
you
count on my
what
guy.
But
no, I'm just fucking with you though, man.
But you know what it is. It's one of those things. If you know, man. You
Yeah,
know. So
I'm
I
just
I I ain't want to, but you know,
you
I'll
had to
leave it
do the
at
greater
that.
good.
Yeah. That
Think
to do the
long
greater
game.
good. Yeah. That's what we'll say. Yeah, that's what we'll say, man. But aside from that, though, man, there's a lot to talk about.
It's a lot to talk about.
It's a lot to talk about, man. We don't really get an opportunity to do these podcasts in the same frequency that we used to, and I think that's for a combination of things. I think number one, life is life in a little bit more now than it was back then, where the commitment to being able to dedicate that time and that energy and that effort towards the podcast as consistently as we were in the past is just not it's not there anymore.
I can tell you,
But
I can tell you why it's not there.
why is
If you
that?
just look over your shoulder and see that vision board behind you, that's why it's not there.
Yeah, I mean,
That boy working. That boy
so
working.
so yeah, that's a necessary part of the process.
You gotta be able to visualize it.
You got to be able to visualize it, and I read some of the books that I read or some of the reels or the things that I look at. Some of the biggest things that they tell you, the key to success is you got to write things down. You got to write it down. You got to put it on paper. You got to make it visual. You got to write those things down. And I'm a firm believer in that. And I've been doing it for years. I don't think there's a single year going into Turf Wars where we did not do this, what you see behind you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a part of the process.
Yeah.
Now, this is one of many, things that I have jotted down, but I'm like a madman.
Call that boy Rain Man.
Yeah, man. So
When it comes to this kickball shit.
yeah,
Rain,
but for me, we how we operate and how we function, man. It ain't even really kickball, man. It's business. You know what I'm
for sure.
saying? It's business.
Sure.
So while the industry that we are in is the sports industry, man, you gotta you treat it like a real business, and there's that.
I also want to commend you too, man, because you say we had a conversation the other day. You say you doing a little fast from the alcoholic libations.
Yeah. Taking a break on that. Just fasting from that, so I could just operate and function with clarity. And so for me, not that it was something that was a
That you had to
distraction. I
have.
would say I didn't
Mhm.
have to do it, but I feel like if there's nothing stopping me from not doing it, why would I not do? So like I'm just kind of changing it up a little bit. I'm sure I'll revisit that path, sooner or later. But for right now, I'm just kind of just pressing the pause button on a drink or two until I feel like mentally I'm in a space where I'm 1,000% dialed in.
No, that's what's up.
Yeah,
That's definitely what's up.
yeah. So there's that component of it too. And plus, with my Magic Cup out there in Orlando, I think I had enough drinks to kind of last me.
Did you end up bringing that home?
Of course, of course.
Okay.
The cup couldn't stay in Orlando. The cup had to come right here.
So for the people who don't know, man, go ahead and explain no explanation on the Magic Cup.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
G14 classified.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
All right.
mm-hmm. It's one of those things where if you know, you know, And so, it's just one of those things, man. There's gonna be some people who operate and function throughout life, and at some point in their life, they're gonna know what that is. But then there's gonna be other people who they'll never know what that is, and that's where we can leave it because that's just what it
Stupid.
is.
Stupid. No,
Yeah,
man,
man.
but before we get to talking about kickball, man, just going back to Orlando and discussing what a time it was. And I think I'm going to take this time on this particular podcast just to be totally frank. Like, you know what I'm saying? It is, call it what it is. It is what it is. But while we were down there, we seen a lot of things that was coming across, and you would swear, like, if you wasn't there viewing the Orlando tournament from a kickball Facebook point of view only, you could have swore it was the worst tournament that ever happened. And that could have been nothing but further from the truth. That actually boots on the ground, people's vibes, people's faces. There was a couple of hiccups or whatever, but at the same time, from what I saw, everybody thoroughly enjoyed themselves at the resort, at the pool, at the lazy river, at the fields. There was a little gripes about, oh, it's on grass and it's been raining, the field's gonna be terrible. The fields were superb. I mean, again, it's Florida. They know how to take care of the fields when it rains like that, because it does that all the time. There was no issues with the field not being muddy, not being no holes or no. It was well manicured landscape overall. You know what I'm saying? Outside of the hiccup with the parking that was, ended up being something way out of your hands. But we take accountability for that. But outside of that, it was a flawless ran tournament, bro. You know what I'm saying? And it's just one of them things where you just deal with it and you just move on. But it was just crazy to see. Like, if you just looked at that tournament from Facebook and not being there, you would have swore that shit was terrible. But that was nothing furthest from the truth. That how it was that day. I had a blast. I ain't even gonna hold you. Again, I talked about it with my mom and my aunt coming down, and my aunt having traveled and been on a plane in almost 40 years, and this was the tournament, or this was the trip that she wanted to choose to finally get back out there and just enjoy herself and have a good time. When I say them ladies gave me a run for my money the whole fucking weekend, like, it was crazy, man. It's crazy, man. And it's like one of the things, like the circle of life. Like, you start off as a kid, and as you grow to an adult, you get older. But then once you get to a certain age, you start resorting back into kid-like ways. And now the child is taking care of the parent as if the parent is the child. And I'm telling you, my mom and her friends, they call themselves teenagers and shit. Teenagers, they call themselves teenagers. And one thing about them teenagers, man, they're just kids that you can't tell what to do, man. You know what I'm saying?
Can't tell them.
No, you can't tell them shit. They're gonna do what they want to do. They're gonna talk to you how they want to talk to you. And her and my aunt, man, they was just fussing the whole time. But it was just so funny to sit back and I was like, is this how they interacted when they were kids? Them being sisters the whole time. But I promise you, when we got back, they said that was the best trip they had in a long time. They thoroughly enjoyed it. I was like, damn, like, oh, okay, all right. But again, we wanted to do something different.
Yeah.
That they haven't done in a while, and I just wanted them to just take part in the resort. If you wanted to get up and do something, you could. If you didn't, if you wanted to sleep in, just enjoy yourself. If you want to go hang out at the pool, if you want to come to the games, cool. But you ain't got to stay at the games. You just do whatever you want to do. And they had a good time.
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously, with the comment that I'm gonna make, it may not resonate with majority, because they're gonna be like, there's bias there. But I thought that the event was well ran. I thought it was well executed, and I thought it was an amazing experience. And obviously, people can, oh, well, you're supposed to say that, but I think in the past I've been very transparent about some of the events that we've hosted where I think, hey, we could have done better in this space and things like that. As it relates to like the fields and stuff like that. One of my biggest things about Orlando was the fields that we were at last year, the facility that we were at last year. I'll be the first to tell you, I was embarrassed. I was very embarrassed with those fields, because I don't believe that the fields um, uh, matched up to what they were portrayed to look like in the images and things like that, right? So um, when during the final hour, when it was too late, we were we settled on those fields. And I knew coming back to Orlando, there just was no way that we could ever put our players in a position or a situation like that where the venue didn't match that service of excellence that we try to provide to the players during that experience. When I went out there to the Omni and we did the fields of the walkthrough, and I'm walking on that grass, I thought the shit was carpet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was leaning down, touching it, but I'm like, is this grass or turf? It was that well maintained. So much so to the point where um the Omni Resort was hosting a professional soccer team that weekend, and they were practicing on those fields as well too. So if that didn't tell you in terms of just kind of like, if that didn't explain to you kind of like how pristine those fields are, and then I want to take it, I want to take it to another level. Like in order to use those fields at the Omni doesn't reserve allow outside guests to use those fields, right? So it's not as though the general public can come in, use those fields, tear them up, and then go,
About their
about
business.
their business.
Mhm.
You have to be a guest of that resort to use those fields, and in most cases, what it takes in order to reserve those fields, being a guest is not enough. There's a minimum occupancy that facility requires in order for you to even obtain those fields. So think about what that meant to us in terms of experience from Orlando last year, and then making the commitment that we made to a 5-star resort to say, hey, we're going to take on this obligation and this commitment, and we're going to agree to these terms and conditions just to put these players on fields that we believe are suitable for the type of gameplay and the type of experience that they deserve. You know what I'm saying? So what I will say about it is I personally did like the fields. I felt like the Omni um, resort staff, they were amazing. You know what I'm saying, in terms of just the service that they provided. One of the things that I did hate, I did hate there were two things that I didn't like. One was the fact that the pathway to get to the fields from the hotel, the walkway,
Yeah, the construction.
it was shut down because of construction. This is not something that we were privy to or we knew at the moment or the time that we decided to agree to the facility. And that made it for a longer walk for some of the players and teams that made that commitment to walk. And then, it could have been an oversight on my part. I don't believe that it was, but had no idea that the facility itself, that the fields itself, had a separate parking charge. You know. Now, while I fully believe that there's never going to be a good time to communicate that there's a $38 parking charge, whether you tell them day one or the day before, um, that wasn't something that I was privy to until the night before, where I'm, just kind of
Yeah,
going through my final.
I was there.
Yeah, so I'm kind of going through, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, do y'all understand what's about to happen right now when I communicate this? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you understand what is going to happen when I communicate this? And they tried their best in terms of kind of lightening the blow and said, all right, well, because this is something that you weren't aware of, here's what we can do as far as what that price point looks like. And I was like, well, I still don't think that's enough. So we're gonna have to meet somewhere and try to do something on our end as an org. And so we tried, but I think it all worked out in the end. I think that while you're not gonna make everyone happy, and obviously we understand that, we did our best to at least kind of soften the blow. Some of the things that we felt, um, some of the things that we felt um, was some hiccups during the day was because of the continuous rain throughout the weekend, especially Friday leading into Saturday. That impacted our ability to prep the fields on Friday like we normally do. Right, it was just between ESPN and then the continuous rain on Friday. We were unable to prep the fields like we normally do, and that ended up resulting in us making the commitment and the plan to arrive at the fields early Saturday morning to go ahead and get the things ready for run of show. Luckily, Friday night, myself, Tay, Herb, Bobby, a few of us, we were in the parking lot at the Omni, kind of just pre-prepping the flags and doing a lot of these things, getting the shirts in place, the rings in place, the walkie-talkies charged. We were doing all of these necessary things in order to make sure that that once we did get to the fields early Saturday morning, it was just like, hey, you just pop up and go. But
And this
unfortunately,
was,
security.
and y'all made that decision like right after the meet and greet. I remember y'all was talking about it. You was like,
Yeah,
you know what?
yeah.
It may be an inconvenience now, but let's just go ahead and try to knock as much as we can out tonight, so we don't got to do that much in the morning.
Yep. Just to get so we got the bases pre-organized. We went ahead and did a lot of those things so that we could just get that out the way. So that way in the morning we wasn't scrambling. And luckily we did that the night before because security opened up the gate late, where there was a line parked all the way down to the light, the street light. And if we didn't have that stuff pre-organized and pre-ready, it would have probably taken another hour to get game started. But because we had those things ready and in place, as soon as they opened the gates, we just got the golf cart and it was just like, all right, drop the bases where they are, pop the field flags up. The only thing we got to do is set the table in the tent, let the girls do the check-in, and we good. So we were still able to get everybody checked in and their first game started at the game time that we advertised. And so for us, we hang our hat on things like that. And take great pride on in those things. We got really good reviews from the referees. This was the first tournament where we instituted the rate your referee, where in real time, referees get the opportunity to get surveyed after the game. And what I loved about it is all of our referees were encouraging the players, hey, make sure you take this survey and give me a rating after the tournament. And the players were doing it. We had well over 100 survey reviews for the referees that we went and looked at after the tournament. And for me, that's a step in the right direction, because you get to kind of improvise in real time, right? After game one, if you're seeing consistencies in terms of or inconsistencies, you can address those in real time, right? And if you're seeing some consistencies and some good things, you can acknowledge and highlight the referees for the job that they're doing in real time. For us, this is the future of where we're going in terms of the on-field experience as it relates to the players and the referees. Are there games where players may disagree with the call that was made? Absolutely. That's never going to change in the landscape of sports. It's just not. You could pick it at any level: little league, t-ball, professional, college, high school. It doesn't matter. There's always going to be plays that are called or plays that are made and calls that are made. Calls that are made where the competitor may not agree with it. Or was it the wrong call? Maybe. Was it the right call? Maybe. Is it arguable? Absolutely. And so that's just a part of the experience, a part of the business, and a part of the game that we acknowledge and we accept. But we don't, we try not to put more attention into those moments than what sports suggests we should. You know what I'm saying? I just think overall, man, we had a really good event. One thing that I do think about is, we do offer the survey reviews, and we allow players to complete those survey reviews, and we normally release it with the photo gallery, so that way, people who are looking for the gallery also have the surveys right there at their disposal. And that's really where we lean into for true feedback. We do understand that a lot of times with social media, there could be that outcry for what people would deem as wanting to provide feedback, but our true source to get that feedback is when people take it upon themselves to really kind of highlight some of the things that we've given them an opportunity to highlight, and we really lean into that. You know what I'm saying? So, but it was overall, man, I think it was a really good event. And for you to say, if you would have looked at it on social media, you would have thought otherwise. Luckily for me, I didn't look at it on social media. And I think one of the blessings that's happened for me personally and for the brand is that our social media has grown so much over the last year, right? I think I was telling you about this before. Like, our social media has grown so much over the last year. Shit, just in the last 28 days, we have nearly 50 million views, right? And with that growth comes so many comments and so much engagement that it's virtually impossible to keep up with it. You can't. I don't care who you are, you can't keep up with it. And so I say that to say, with all of these comments, there's some negative comments, there's some positive comments. But in the grand scheme of things, individuals like myself, we become numb to it because there's so many. And so now, as it relates to social media holistically as a whole, when people are negative on that platform or positive, it's not necessarily things that we see or we dive into that much because it comes so often. It's just like, I can't even, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just can't. It's impossible to. So
and then realistically, like, the shelf life of a story on social media is 48 hours. So if you don't catch it, or you can say 24. So if you don't catch it 24. Within that first 24, 48, that shit gone anyway.
It's gone.
You know what I'm saying?
It's gone. You know, they're gonna be talking about the Tupac trial, you know, within the next 24 hours, or what we've been talking about, InvestFest, or, you know, WNBA. It doesn't matter. You could stir the pot on social media. At best, you get 24 hours out of it. Maybe if you're lucky, you may get 48. But 24 hours is the lifespan, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so my suggestion is, if you ever genuinely are looking for a solution and not attention, you know how to get at us, you know what I'm saying? Because we give opportunities for every single player to, if they really want to see a solution. I'm not talking about anybody who want attention, because if you want attention, you know where to get it. But if you want a solution, you know how to get at us, you know what I'm saying? And that's where we really kind of lock in and say, all right, this is somebody who feels this way about this, and this is how we create a solution for that. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, there's that.
I do, because it's almost like I'm interviewing you, whatever. But because I already know the answers to this, but I just want it to be known, to be said out. You know what I'm saying, for the public or whatever. But how difficult was this particular weekend, as far as, especially with the ESPN component? The logistics behind the ESPN component alone, outside of the tournament on Saturday and Sunday, where you had influencers come in, you had to make sure they made their flights, they got their rooms, they made it, like that right there alone, just that logistic alone, making sure all the influence got to where they were supposed to be at the time, could be nerve-wracking within itself. Because, you know, I don't know if people know, but like a lot of flights got canceled on Friday on our way down there, and our flight got canceled. It got delayed a couple times. Then it just all of a sudden, leaving out of Reagan, just got canceled. And so there was a lot of people on that flight. There was a lot of people that was playing on Friday morning. I just so happened to run into one of the influences that you had that was coming down. That was supposed to be playing on Friday, and you know, we just was just rapping and just talking, and then he just ended up, you know what I'm saying, hanging out with me and my family the whole time. So we're all sitting there trying to figure out how the fuck are we going to make this flight, because there was no early flights leaving out of DCA Friday morning that would be able to get us there nowhere remotely in time. And so we all just found that there was a flight leaving out in about, you know what I'm saying, less than 2 hours from BWI. So everybody was scrambling. We had to hurry up and try to get our bags back off the plane, because they had put them on a plane. And we all just, you know what I'm saying, grabbed like 2 or 3 Ubers, and we all just Ubered to quarter Uber Lyft to BWI. And we was luckily to make it there in time to make the next flight that was leaving out of BWI. And whole time we got the influencer with it. We got man Davey Ruffin with us. He's in the car with my family and my folks and stuff, man. He was a cool dude, man. And you know, I definitely appreciate that. And you know, because he didn't have to be. Sometimes you be running into these influencers, and sometimes they be like, you know, they feel like they Hollywood, or be acting like they Hollywood, man. He was really down to earth, man. And we made sure that we got him to the next airport. We made sure that we got him to the Omni Hotel. And, you know, it was just one of them things, but that's just one person.
Mm-hmm.
You had 5 more that you had to make sure that got there on time. And make sure their flight wasn't canceled and shit like that. So that could be a, you know what I'm saying, a nerve wracking within itself. And so, you know, a lot of people don't know the logistics behind everything that goes on into putting in the tournament. Not that they care or anything, but you know, in order for everything to go like it's supposed to go, a lot of shit got to line up. You know what I'm saying? And the difference between, like I'll say this a million times, the difference between a great organization or a good company and a great company are the ones that are able to make those decisions in real time, like you would say.
Yeah, you got to pivot. You know,
On because you got to do. You don't have a whole lot of time to think about the pros and the cons. Hey, this is what we're gonna go with, and then we're gonna exercise and make sure it comes alive. Because a lot of people have great ass ideas, but if you can't put the logistics behind it to put it in fruition, it ain't nothing but a fucking idea. You know what I'm saying?
right, right.
And,
Yeah, no,
and then you had you put the order in for the jerseys, and they got there, and there was some hiccups with that, and and then I saw that Sonic said something about on the broadcast, the dude was calling people the wrong names, and it was just. But again, you just have to figure it out because you don't have time. Because with that ESPN shit, that shit running on every hour on the hour, you got to make a decision and keep on. And you provided everything that you could. Now, you didn't look into whether or not the jersey was going to be the way it was and people was going to switch up after you provided a roster with positions and jersey numbers behind it. And that's basically what he was going off of, jersey numbers that was listed on the roster that was on the paper. But because some people had switched jerseys because they wanted a better fit or this, that, or the third. So he was calling people different names based on the roster that he received based on the jerseys that was assigned. But other than that, man, it was cool. I got to work with another guy. That was my first time meeting him, and we did a great job based on the information that we had. And I will say this is probably, and again, I'm being transparent that I had this conversation before. This is probably the first time I actually called a game where I didn't know all the players.
right.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't know all the players. I was just meeting them that morning to try to figure out who they were and what they did, and again, it just moved so fast, and so I was just calling to ask what they should do in this situation, but I wasn't sure if there was a bunter or a kicker or none of that. So this is the first time I felt as though that I pretty much went off the cuff trying to call a game, but this is the first time that I really didn't know majority of the players that who was going to be playing, as far as knowing what they actually do on the field, seeing them play before.
Yeah, no, I mean, this event was probably this was for me personally, I felt like this was one of our biggest like challenges, this event. Like at one point I said to myself, I was like, fuck, we got a whole tournament this weekend. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because like damn, fuck the Friday stuff. We still got Saturday and Sunday to run, because that's how draining preparation just for Friday alone was, and I had to keep leaning into the mindset that everything is going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. But in the grand scheme of things, whatever could have went wrong.
Yeah.
And
worst case scenario. And a lot of people, let me not say a lot of people, but it would have been, it was easy to fold in that moment. You know what I'm saying? And it started back to Wednesday. Wednesday, I had my flight, booked and all of that for Wednesday, because I had to be in Orlando on Thursday by 10 a.m. I had a walkthrough at the fields in Orlando at 10 a.m. So Wednesday is my final day in Charlotte of prep. That's where we prep all the equipment, we get all of that ready to be transported down to Florida. And, later on that night, I fly down to Orlando. So I'm thinking to myself, you know what, when I'm booking this flight, let me go ahead and book a late flight out. I'm probably book the last flight out of Charlotte, because that's going to give me all the time that I need to make sure that all of the equipment is packed, ready to go. And Wednesday night, I get notification that my flight is canceled. Not delayed, but canceled. And so now, that kind of
that kind of disrupts the timeline a little bit, because now it's like, okay, well, how am I going to make sure that I get to Orlando in time for my walkthrough at the network? We have to prep the home run wall. We gotta do this, we gotta do that, and we're running on a very tight timeline because, again, not only do we have to focus on the Friday component, we have the Saturday and Sunday experience as well. And so, without having much time to really make a decision, made a decision like, all right, look, it's 11 o'clock. We're driving down to Orlando. This is the only way we're going to get down to Orlando in time for the walkthrough. And you can't reschedule the walkthrough, right? Because like you said, with ESPN, everything is, they have other sports groups that have walkthroughs where they've committed and allocated those times too. So imagine 11 o'clock is your bedtime and you say, you know what, I'm going to get a rental and drive 8.5 hours to another state, just 3 other states during what is considered your bedtime. I'm sure you could imagine how exhausting and tiresome that is,
and not only that, but it was bad weather too.
It was bad weather, so that's why the flights got canceled. It's because of the weather. So, drove to Orlando, drove an 8.5 hour trip to Orlando, and I arrived to Orlando at 6:30 in the morning. And the driver the drivers who were bringing the equipment down, they were just a few hours behind us. So by the time I get to Orlando, it really wasn't even tired anymore. You think that, as soon as I check into the hotel, I'm gonna lay down. Now I'm in Orlando, it's showtime, right? So there's some last minute emails that need to be scheduled and prepped to go out. There's some last minute communications that we need to make sure that the players are aware of and things like that. And that's what the focal point was on minute I checked into my hotel before my walkthrough at 10 a.m. Get to the fields for the walkthrough, and the drivers, they arrive at the same time. And so while we're there at the fields, we're like, you know what, there's no better time than now to go ahead and prep this home run wall, because if we don't do this home run wall now, there won't be another moment during this weekend where we'll be able to do it before showtime on Friday, right?
Yeah.
So all of us, we start prepping the home run wall. It's the three of us. We're prepping the home run wall. And as we're prepping the home run wall, we get to about 80% of the wall. It's thundering and lightning, and ESPN makes us clear the fields. So we're sitting in the dugout of the fields for an extra hour, before the home run wall is finished. And it's kind of like, now this is eating into time, because I got things at the Omni I need to do. I'm getting phone calls that this creator is saying this, and this person is saying that, and this person's flight is canceled. And I'm sitting here at the ESPN fields really on stuck mode, waiting till we get the green light to get back on the fields and prep the home run wall, right? And so it's like, after a while, we make the executive decision. It's like, look, we're 80-90% done with this wall. Lightning gonna have to strike me, because we're gonna finish this so I can get back to doing what I do. So we finish the wall, we leave, we get back to the hotel, and now it's time to prep for like the meet and greet, where we had the fire pit at the Omni. We had it reserved and blocked off where the players, we're gonna meet the players and things like that. It's pouring down rain. So we learned from the Omni, you can't host this event outside. We gotta shift it to the lobby, right? And so it's just like little things like that were happening throughout the day. Where it was just like it like I said, it could have. You want to crash out, you could have folded in that moment, right? And so, I'm trying to make sure that everything is, again, still leaning into everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be okay. And so the Omni was like, hey, we want to show you the fields. We want you to check these out, yada, yada, yada. So I'm like, okay, cool. And so we look at the fields. Everything looks good with that. But now I'm learning about the pathway being blocked off, and it's going to be a longer walk and this, that, and the third. So it just felt like every little thing that was happening was becoming more and more annoying, right? Like, if it was one or two things that happened, it probably wouldn't have been or felt as annoying as it did. But a lot of it just kind of was just like, it felt like too much. That day happens, Thursday night is happening, and then midway through, we get the call that your flight gets canceled. Then I get the call that Davy's flight gets canceled. Then I get the message that Davy and GP are on the same flight. And I'm like, oh, God, here we go. So now in my mind, two things is happening. I'm like, well, if GP can't make it, then we don't have an analyst. If Davy can't make it, then we don't have one of the creators who we've already made these arrangements for to come and, XYZ. And so there's that component of it. And ESPN, they're reaching out to me and they're saying, what's your backup plan? Are you going to be the one that's the analyst? Because we need somebody in here. And, oh, by the way, just to let you know, the weather's planning on doing this tomorrow during your segment as well too. And so if it is thundering and lightning, we're not going to be able to air you live on TV. We're going to put you on the backup network where people can catch you guys later, right? Like these are things that are being communicated to me in real time. So forgive me if I wasn't connected with social media and seeing some of the silly things that was being said, right? Because my mind was elsewhere. It's bigger fish to fry.
Right.
Then like I said, some of the silly things that you're seeing. And so, we get through that. And like I said, by leaning into the everything's gonna be okay, everything's gonna be okay, you ended up managing to book another flight. You and the team, you, Davey, your family, y'all ended up making it out there, right? Like, but not only your flight, a ton of players, many of who were supposed to be on ESPN, their flights, we were getting words that their flights was canceled too. So the network, that at one point, my people from the network, they texted me. They're like, hey, is there a local team here in Florida that you can use as a backup team in the event that your players are not making it? Because these flight cancellations are getting serious. And I'm like, well, if we can't get the true players, I think there's enough players here already at the hotel where we'd just be able to kind of make them. But we was going to have to plan B. And you think people getting called the wrong names on Friday was something. It was really about to be some wrong names being called. So there's that, right? And then Friday comes along and it's like, all right, it's showtime. We gather the players in the lobby. The shout outs to our uniform and our apparel and our jersey design, our new partner, Rebellion Sports. They did an amazing job with the uniforms. I believe this one was my fault because when they asked the fitting and the size, I said, hey, we get them. We want them fitted, right? They want the uniforms. They normally like the jerseys fitted. Well, by getting these uniforms fitted, they run a size smaller. Right. And so when we were getting the true sizes from the players and we were issuing them out, everybody was like, yo, this is like a baby shirt. This is like a baby shirt. And I'm like, oh my God. Here we go again, right? Like, so now the uniforms aren't fitting the players. And 90% of the players were okay with it. They were like, you know what, we can make it work. We're going to make it work. There were some players that were kind of going on and on and on and on. And I'm at one point I was like, all right, now, come on now. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. And I think it was like at that moment where they're like, okay, we get it. But even in that moment, that was like almost the peak of my frustration because I'm like, whatever could go wrong is going wrong.
Yeah.
We get to the fields. We get to the fields and the sky is beautiful. Everything is perfect. We get the banners on the home run wall. Everything looks good. It's 10 minutes till airtime. Everybody's kind of like the adrenaline is starting to build and it starts coming down. The rain starts coming down. I'm looking over and those clouds are black and they're coming towards us. And I'm like, if it could go wrong, it's going to go wrong. But lean into that. Everything's going to be okay. And
look, on cue too. Like the storm came on cue. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Turf Wars kickball come on at 12.
Right. At 12. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and it was just like
the skies opened up and it was coming down. They was warming up, and they started, but then it only lasted maybe like 10 to 15 minutes, if that.
Yeah, it didn't even make its way through a full inning. And so that's one thing. That's one thing that I could admire about Orlando is that it's gonna rain, but the rain ain't gonna fuck with you to the point where it's just fucking with you like that. Not in the summertime, or at least not over the weekend, right? So that happened, and I was just like, man, like everything's gonna be okay, and it was okay. You know what I'm saying? Everything was okay, and so
like you said, like about 5 minutes later, the skies cleared up, the sun came back out. And it ended up being a great day for kickball. Because again, those fields are manicured. They had the little dirt park covered up, so it wasn't like no regular run of the mill field where some rain like that would have ruined it. That shit was perfectly manicured. So
it was nice. It was good, and then
it was one of them things where you said anything could go wrong.
It went wrong,
but everything is going to be all right.
Everything was going to be all right.
Everything was going to be all right.
That's why I had
the sky cleared up. And then what happened? As soon as the motherfucking game was over, 10 minutes after the game was over, that motherfucking cloud came back and it started pouring down, raining again. But it did it long enough for us to get through the segment and move on to the next one.
Yeah, and so I think by just telling yourself everything is gonna be all right, everything's gonna be all right. That was just that to me that's the perfect way of just really saying it doesn't matter what goes wrong, it'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, in the business of event planning, we're not even gonna talk about like take the sport that we play and put that to the side. Like pick this up, put that on the shelf because it is what it is. We're planning an event. No different from a production. No different. No different from somebody wants to plan a wedding, somebody wants to plan a party, somebody wants to plan, you name it. We are planning an event. And when you're planning an event, like so many things have to go right in order for that event to be a success. And a lot of times when things go left or things go wrong, the event planners, they may fold under that pressure. You know what I'm saying? And collapse. For me, I had to understand that there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people who have made arrangements to come out here. They don't give a fuck if it rains for 15 minutes. They don't care that your flight got canceled. They don't care that Davy's flight didn't get here on time. They don't care about none of that. They don't care about these uniforms not fitting. They don't care about this pathway being blocked by construction. They don't give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck about
none of it.
Yeah.
And so it's not our job. It's not our job to communicate all the things that went wrong leading in. It's our job to disguise it, fix it, resolve it, and make sure that what they came out for is what they got.
Whatever it is, you do the best that you can to make sure that the players, the people you got coming out, don't feel the brunt of it that we feel putting it together.
You can't feel the brunt of it. You know what I'm saying? So like in the grand scheme of things, when I hear people say things like, or it's being communicated to me, like, you see what such and such say on Facebook? They said the field's being grass. I'm like, whoo. Well, if that's the least of your concern, or if that's your biggest concern, thank God. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because you worried about if this motherfucker's even gonna happen.
And you hear talking about this is grass, this ain't turf. Woo! Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you. Right? Because if you've seen the shit we really were dealing with, that'd have been the least of your fucking concerns is whether or not this is grass or turf. You understand what I'm saying? So like when I'm seeing that, I'm like, yeah, you got no idea. Thank you for complaining about that. Like, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Because there was so many different things, like I said, that and I we normally don't highlight like the hidden components of the event, but this was just one of those things, man. GP, if it could have went wrong, rest assured, it did.
Yeah.
It did. It went wrong, but it was okay. Everything worked itself out.
But what it does though, it causes you to have this type of callus on your skin to where, like you say, stupid shit like that you don't even pay no attention to, and it gets you to the point where if you can get through an event like that, like you can do anything. Like, man, give me whatever. I'm going to make a way, and I'm still going. You can't stop it.
It's like, saying? To be honest with you, after Orlando, it's equivalent to Thanos when he got that 6th ring. He's indestructible. You can't break him now. Like it's a wrap now. Like because whatever you threw our way on the weekend of Orlando, and I'm not talking about like people per se. It was uncontrollable factors, Mother Nature. And I don't want to, like, we went head to head against Mother Nature. We didn't win. We just got lucky.
Right.
Because you can't beat Mother Nature, but we got lucky. We got lucky against Mother Nature. We fought her.
We found a window.
we fought Mother Nature. So if we managed to somehow, some way win against Mother Nature, how the fuck a human being can beat us? It ain't happening. No. There's nothing you could say. There's nothing you could do. There's nothing you could post. There's nothing you could whisper. None of that. It just, we got the 6th ring like Thanos, man. We escaped Mother Nature and we managed to put together something from start to finish. Yep. You know what I'm saying? And there were so many beautiful moments of that. There were so many beautiful moments of that experience that don't get highlighted, that need to get highlighted. But like we had a team that traveled all the way from Buffalo, New York. because they've been seeing us on Instagram. They've been following our pages. They've been doing this. They travel all the way down just for that Turf Wars experience and did not regret it. You know what I'm saying? They're talking about the next one that they're going to come to. And, we're seeing families and friends. And I'll be honest, I even put it out there at one point. I was like, look, if we ain't doing the tournament on the resort anymore, I might just retire. I might just hang it up, because the resort experience alone, everything just being all in, like, I ain't gonna call it all inclusive, but so accessible and everything happening on one property, it made it hard for me to subscribe to the idea that there should ever be another experience that we deliver and we offer where things aren't this accessible. You mean to tell me we just finished up a full day's worth of tournament and you walk over here and there's a lazy river? You go over here, there's a bar. You go up here, there's a lobby where you get your drinks. You go over here, there's a putt-putt. You go over there, there's a Top Golf, all within walking distance.
3 or 4 restaurants, take your pick.
It's tough. It's extremely difficult, but this was one of the things where, the experience that we were able to curate that weekend is one that I believe is going to go down, go down as one of my most memorable moments, and one of the things that I'm most proud of in terms of what we've been able to accomplish as an organization. What we did with the Omni Hotel in terms of partnership and the room nights that we had secured at that property. I don't know if there's another kickball organization that can say, yes, we hosted an event and we helped secure this many hotel rooms for one property. I don't know if that, I could be wrong. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna say that it's never happened or whatnot, but I know for us, this is a record number of room nights that we were able to help secure with the Omni property. And the benefits are going to show, you know what I'm saying, in terms of what that was able to do for us as an organization. Pound for pound, all in all, I feel like the event was a huge success, And we're saying all of these things, and we didn't even dive into the actual gameplay on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah,
So
yeah. I mean that's what, but the thing about it is, I wanted to make sure that I brought that up so it can be talked about, because a lot of people just don't know. They don't care to know, but I wanted to provide an opportunity just to talk about a lot of the things that people don't see that goes into putting together a tournament. And the thing about it is, you have to be so organized to where you just, it's throwing a tournament is just not saying waking up tomorrow and say, you know what, I'm gonna throw a tournament in next month. And because how hard can it be? No, it's so many things that go into throwing a tournament that you just don't believe. There's so many obstacles a lot of times with the venues and the other things that you don't even get to the people aspect of it yet, that you have to go through. I can remember times when, we especially, that second time in Charleston, I'm talking about, we got people there, we about to get ready to play, and the dudes is talking about, man, nah, we about to cancel this because, I seen somebody with a Hennessy bottle. Nah, this. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, you're not gonna cancel a whole fucking tournament on Saturday morning because you seen somebody with a Hennessy bottle. Nah, we're not doing that. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you talking about? But again, you have to jump through all these hoops and go over these obstacles or whatever, just for the tournament to happen. Mm-hmm. And they think, a lot of times people think that we're just being an asshole. Hey man, you can't. Hey, put that drink up. Hey man, you can't smoke it. There's a lot of things that go along with it that, like, for sure, the motherfuckers be ready to shut the shit down off of that shit for real. So it just goes off of your personal relationships with the venues and the people that run it, to where, hey, look, just leave it up to me. I'm gonna get a handle of it. We're gonna take care of it. We're gonna take care of it. You take care of us. We're gonna handle all this other stuff. And by the grace of God, we were able to get through a tournament or whatever. But when it's over, it's a big sigh of relief. Like, got through that shit. And I feel like we be like a glutton for punishment. Hey, 2 more weeks, we're gonna do it all over again.
My goodness, man. You know what I'm saying? And like, even one of the things that I didn't talk about was, like, they prepped the fields wrong. They prepped our fields wrong.
For ESPN or for
no, for
Saturday and Sunday.
So the field map that we sent out, we gave them the diagram. When I did my walkthrough, I had the diameter and the dimensions for the kicker's box, right? This was the first red flag. So when we were doing the walkthrough and they're showing me the fields, I just automatically eyeballed it. I was like, that kicker's box is too small. And so the guy who showed me the fields and doing the walkthrough, he was like, oh, the grounds crew did that. He was like, are you sure? We gave him all the dimensions. I said, dog, I'm positive. That's not our kicker's box. It's way too small. So he's like, all right, well, we'll call the grounds crew, but we're going to show you how we got the rest of the field set up to be laid out. I'm like, all right, cool. So we're talking. Okay, we're going to put one here. We're going to put one here. We're going to put one here per diagram. After we leave the fields, we meet up with the grounds crew. And, we're talking about how we're going to set the fields up. And then I just mentioned, I was like, oh, yeah, by the way, that kicker's box was kind of small. The grounds crew trying to act like they don't understand what I'm talking about.
Right.
Right? They're like, no, we did per dimensions. I said, no, you there's no way you did per dimensions. He's like, well, yeah, we did 8.5 because we were. And I was like, then say that because you're missing 4 feet off the box. So you got to go. So we can't use that field, right? And you got to go per the diagram. Now, because it rained all day Friday night. No, it wasn't fainted. We didn't go to audit the fields on Friday. We didn't. I just assumed that per diagram they were gonna set it up correctly. So Saturday morning was my first time seeing the fields fully laid out. And as I'm walking, I'm like, wait, why did they put one here and here? They could be overlapping the outfields here and here.
Yeah.
Wait.
They put this done that.
So, right.
Done that. Yeah.
And so you got to keep taking into consideration when you do survey reviews after a tournament, and some of the survey feedback is like, oh, the fields are too tight together. There's overlap in the outfield. And then we come into a new tournament and we make it to where there's no overlap. And then the facility does it anyway. Who does it look like wasn't listening?
Oh, absolutely. Right? It's one thing, like again, like I say, you send that field map as to how you wanted to set up, and then they'll just take it upon themselves. Well, yeah, that don't make us. We gonna do it like this,
right?
Well, and then you go there and do that walkthrough. You be like, yo, this.
What I told
you can't put a field side by side with each other. Like, come on, man. Like, no, that field is X'd out. I need you to put the field over there.
That's not what I told you to do, right? And so now, in real time, we're making the adjustments. So imagine getting to the airport and you're boarding out of gate A, and then for some reason the plane has to divert. You got to board out of gate C. It happens, right? This just happens. Like your boarding pass originally said A27, but because something uncontrollably happened with the airplanes that we'll never know nothing about, flight control, airline pilot, whatever, you may have to go to C26. It just may happen. It may happen in real time. That's what happened on the day of. It's like, look, this was the original gate you were supposed to board out of, but because of uncontrollable factors, we got to send you to another gate. And the complaints and the gripe, I'm like, y'all ain't understanding right now. You know what I'm saying? So it was some of that, but these are little minor things, like, right, that happen, and it's a smaller part of a bigger picture that was a huge success, but so
we just spent enormous amount of time on that part. So let's get to the nitty gritty, man. Let's talk about the winners of that weekend. Shout out to what was the team that won on Friday? Was it called? Red Blitz?
No, that was Red Rain. Red Rain won. The creators, man, I loved having them on. There are some elements of the experience that I wish we could have gotten back. I wish personally we did a better job as an organization, kind of really highlighting who the creators were, leading in, right? Because while these creators have a massive following of their own and they have a community and an audience of their own, there's a lot within the community, the kickball community that weren't aware of who these creators were. And I think that we missed the opportunity to highlight who some of these creators were, like the young lady, Cheryl George.
Yeah.
She went to first base and then she was trying to like juke, AJ to make it a second. She's a Harlem Globetrotter.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And has a massive following and is just an amazing athlete. Right. And, I don't think we did a good job highlighting who this young lady really is and who she was. Right. To get our community's buy-in to see how her skill set can translate over to the kickball field. Uh-huh. And that was, these are all learning moments.
And telling a better story as to why this route was taken for this particular
Exactly,
kickball
right.
experience for the Ocho.
Exactly. But you know what I would say about her, she's based out of Atlanta. And immediately after the game, she's connecting with Eli to say, hey, how can I start playing and doing this more consistently in Atlanta? I need to get coached up. I want to keep playing. So even then, that just that small window of experience for her was enough for her to say, I like this enough to where I want to play. And one of the things that I think is important to highlight is that, you know, I'm gonna be honest. Like we catch a lot of flack. We get a lot of criticism and a lot of these type of things, as we do a lot of praise and a lot of um we get our flowers too. But what I will say is like being the only organization that is featuring the game on a nationally televised network, and being the only organization that has really taken upon themselves to invest in bringing content creators to the forefront to expand community and do things like that, we've seen where these opportunities are spilling over into other organizations and creating opportunities for them too, right? Because we don't have a league in Atlanta. We don't have anything happening in Atlanta. Yet we have players who are coming and have respective homes in these cities where they're now looking to get involved in that off the strength of our investment in what we did. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that sometimes
Davey for us.
Davey, right? Sure. Like so, I hope that sometimes when we look at when we look at the way things are shaping out, we look at bigger picture. I can't tell you how many people are on our DMs saying, "Hey, do you got something like this in New Orleans? You got something like this in Houston? You got something like this in Atlanta? When y'all coming to New Jersey?" Like, and we have no physical presence or any tournaments happening in these cities. Who benefits from those? The organizations that do. You feel what I'm saying? So what I will say is like don't be so quick to miss the bigger picture.
The bigger picture. But I mean, but that's life anyway. Everybody can't see and understand your vision. But
don't be so quick to miss it. Don't we ain't your enemy. We ain't your enemy. You know what I'm saying? We ain't your enemy. And so when I look at like just the young lady Cheryl who did what she did, it was dope. Then you had Davey. Obviously, Davey is well known within the DMV area, right? He has a nice massive following in that area. His comedic humor and then you have YVNG Swag from Wildin' Out. These are two gentlemen that were scheduled GP to fly out on Saturday. Both of these gentlemen rebooked their flights to fly out on Sunday so that they could stick around and watch the actual games unfold on Saturday because they enjoyed it that much. You know what I'm saying?
And one thing I will say also too, I definitely want to, thank the kickball community for running into them, establishing a relationship with them and making them feel like they was a part of our community as well.
Absolutely.
Without that, they wouldn't have wanted to stay to see what the real game looked like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It wasn't what I will say about the kickball community. They fully embraced those creators when they came, and it wasn't any other thing. I didn't get a sense of like who they think they are, or who they supposed to be. It was more so like, oh, can you take a picture with us? Oh, we love your stuff. Or what up, man? Like it was all organic. But I would say this: there was never a doubt in my mind that it was going to be anything other than that. You know what I'm saying? If you understand the community that it was never a doubt in my mind that it was going to be anything other than that. The way that they were fully embraced. If you were from the outside looking in, you wouldn't have known who was who. You would, you know what I'm saying? Because it just everything just organically just fit. So it all worked itself out in essence. But even Casey Clark, the young lady who won that challenge, that reality show challenge, and then you had Corey who has nearly 1 million TikTok followers, and he really kind of built his platform on doing like sports specific comedic reels. And then you got D-Lo who created the D-Lo Shuffle and up there in Chicago, and he actually had to fly out that same day because he was doing the Chicago Sky game, right? And he was doing the halftime performance there. So but he said he would have stuck around if he could have, if he didn't have to go do that. So we really I think we won overall in terms of what we were able to create, and new creators have been reaching out to us on social media now with interest and intrigued and wanting to be a part of this experience. And it's not a mistake, GP, that this month alone, 48 million views in the last 28 days. That's not an accident.
Right.
Those things don't fall in your lap. 48 million views doesn't fall in your lap. on accident. That was very calculated. That was very, and so I think that in the landscape, in the grand scheme of things, we won in that space. The viewership was really good for the network. And I want to highlight something. When we have our original airing, it's on ESPN2, right? Even though it's called the Ocho is not a platform that truly exists. You can't go on your TV or your streaming platform right now and find an ESPN8, right?
Right.
The Ocho resides on ESPN2. That's where you're watching the actual program. Anytime that ESPN elects to re-air any of our events, they then transfer it over to ESPN News, right? And that's ESPN News is just continuous re-airs of either games that took place in the past, or it's relevant information in the sports world. That's anytime we re-air. Well, I got to give a shout out to ESPN, because when they re-aired us not only on the Sunday, but re-aired us this past Sunday, they re-aired us again on ESPN2. Not news, but ESPN2. And if you understand anything about linear coverage and ratings and things like that, that's a big moment for us. For them to say, look, we're going to put you back on national. We were on national television on 2 weekends in a row. And they didn't. What I can say is we're blessed and fortunate to be a select few in terms of the sport and the property that we offer to have that opportunity. You see what I'm saying? So I really feel like we did some dope things this past weekend.
And not only that, just to I know we got to get on to the other stuff that we got upcoming, but what people don't know, that segment of ESPN Ocho has only been around, and it served this past, or a couple weeks ago, was the 10-year anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
It's only been out for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And Turf Wars and Kickball has been on there five out of that 10.
Yep.
So, like I said on the thing, it almost feels like Turf Wars and Kickball is a part of the ESPN Ocho. It's just part of it.
Yeah. And I mean, there's been so many, and I love the question that you posed when you asked the question that you did. I had to take time out to say I want to fully respond to this and kind of give my, share my input on it. And I know we got other parts and other things to talk about, so we could kind of table that for the end of the podcast. But yeah, like being on there for 5 years, man, it's almost surreal, because if you know what it takes in order to even be present on a network, on a nationally syndicated network, it's not what you think it is, right?
Let me ask you a question. I mean, I don't mean to cut you off, but how many years have you seen flag football on ESPN?
Never.
It ain't been 5.
It ain't been 5.
It ain't been 5.
I think they did a pre-recording on CBS Sports 1 year or 2 years, and I think that they did. Are we counting like the Pro Bowl? Are we counting that type of stuff?
No, we're not counting that, because those are professional players. Those are NFL players. The NFL players are going to be the draw, not the regular run-of-the-mill IT technicians and teachers and librarians and landscapers and shit like that. Like, no.
So
you just seen a conscious effort in the flag football over the past, I would say, 2 years. They've been putting money in and investing in that. And
it's a lot.
They haven't been on there 5 years. I know that for a fact.
Nah, and I think what we what's notable is not only were we on there 5 years, right? Because that's one thing. That's one thing to look at. So you look at one side of thing, and we've been on there 5 years. But after year number 2, we managed to leverage that into a streaming deal where we've been streaming for 4 years, right? And so, I'm sorry, for 3 years. I'm sorry, we've been streaming for 3 years, where ESPN has tossed us the keys to the vehicle and said, all right, you're in the driver's seat for these projects. You pick the destination, you pick the time of year, you pick the theme, you do all of that. When we're on the Ocho for those 5 years, they tell us where to go, what time we're airing. We're in the passenger seat on the Ocho segments. But when they said, hey, we're gonna allow you to stream and it's your show, this is your call. Here goes the drivers, here goes the keys to the vehicle. Think about the trust that we've earned from the network in order for them to do that.
Right.
Think about how they view the property, the brand, in order for them to do that. Would you, at any time in your life, give the keys to a 2-year-old and say, I trust you to drive this vehicle? But that's what they did to us 2 years in. We were only 2 years. And they said, take the keys. You got it. And so I say that speaks volume in terms of, you know, how the trust that we were able to earn from the network, you know, our resilience, the work that we put in, our dedication, our commitment to growing the game, growing the sport, and the beauty in it all is that the 5 years that we hosted it, in those individual segments, we only get a small opportunity to feature players. We don't get a chance to feature many players in that one window. But when we stream, like we will be on ESPN Plus in October, this gives us an opportunity to feature over 100 players in one event, right? Because we dedicate 4 hours of streaming time where we can pick 8 different teams if it plays itself out, you know, that way, where all of these players are now getting an opportunity to say, you know what, yeah, I got a chance to play my favorite sport on a nationally syndicated network, you know,
Yeah.
and you know, that's that. I think there's something to be said about that.
The crazy part about it is been able to make something that was just a figment of your imagination the norm, to the point where now it's like kickball, Turbo's kickball is has the opportunity to be on ESPN so many different times to where now the players can be like, you know what, I'm gonna skip this ESPN event and I'm gonna go to another one.
It's
Where
normal.
it
We
was
know
at
about
first, it was only once a year you had that opportunity. Once a year.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Now it's you then made it into a norm to the point where people are like, all right, I don't really care about this ESPN shit. It's crazy.
But even on the flip side, I know at one point last year I heard this out of a player's mouth myself. I'm not interested in that event if it's not an ESPN event. I heard that too.
Right.
Like, let me see the schedule. These ain't. Oh, they only got 4 ESPN. I'm only going to the ESPN events. You see what I'm saying? Like that's on the flip side of it too. You know, like but you know, it's something that it's cool. You know, it's cool to see just the way, you know, the evolution of our brand and how we, you know, because that's what you essentially that's what you aim for. You aim when you make it to another level. The goal is to never go below that. It's to exceed and keep climbing and keep rising and keep going and going and going and going. And so for us, it's one of those things where okay, we hit this mark, but clearly you could see that just making it to the big leagues wasn't enough for us, right? We wasn't, let's say, Jalen Daniels, and once we got drafted, we became a bust. No, for us, it was about once we get to the NFL, it's about winning and being a high performing athlete. And so for us, it's the same thing. Yeah, we got to this stage where we're on national television, but that was never the end all be all. The end all be all, we're striving for greatness, right? And in the process of us going there, we can keep elevating and taking it to other levels and other heights. And yes, 2022 was a staple moment for us. We got here, but that's not where we wanted it to end. If we wanted it to end there, then it would have ended there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it didn't end there, and it's not going to end there. And we got goals and aspirations to try to take this thing to new heights and new levels, and that's what we're going to do. You know, and you know, I feel confident. I feel confident in that.
The overall goal was always to what things we talk about all the time. What can we do to grow the game?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like all the steps that were taken, the different variations of the type of kickball that was exhibited, was all, like you said, strategically placed to grow the game. to get it in as many households to see it on TV for people to watch as possible, to get more people interested in playing this game, in which in turn, at some point, you're going to see new teams, you're going to see new people based off of all the hard work that was put in the beginning.
Yeah, you know, and there's going to be a lot of people that may disagree with our approach. You know, there's going to be some people that agree with the approach. You know, most of the people that we see disagree with our approach. They come from a world where they're, you know, familiar or accustomed to the way that things were done during that time. And so, you know, obviously for them, they can't get beyond that. You know what I'm saying? They can't see past that. They won't see past that, right? Like, and, you know, that's cool. But, you know, cordless phones ended up losing a cord at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like
we always say, so did Blockbuster.
Yeah, Blockbuster. You know, Blockbuster. Like, listen, there was nothing like going to the video store on a Friday night. Trust me, I was there. I get it.
Damn right.
Right.
Between getting movies and fucking video games
on a Friday night. You telling me on a Friday night? We get to go in here, like the whole family, you know, Pop's getting his action movie, Mom getting her movie, the kids is grabbing video games. We all coming to the counter with your snacks. Friday night, Blockbuster was it. That was it. You can't tell me otherwise. I get it. I understand it. You may not be able to see beyond it, but I tell you what, Blockbuster ain't coming back.
And Blockbuster, and that's what Blockbuster went wrong. They couldn't see getting past that. They didn't want to enter into the new wave of streaming because, hey, streaming is coming. No, that shit can't fuck with what we got going on. And in the blink of an eye, Blockbuster gone.
They're not coming back. You know, they're not coming back. You know, and that's not a knock on Blockbuster because I mean they were a really amazing brand at the time that they existed. But I believe that, you know, when we talk about brands, is being adaptability, being able to adapt to the climate and the culture and the environment, and not necessarily, you know, being unable to adapt is where you see the demise of so many brands, Sears and Kmart and Toys R Us and like a lot of these. Like, we're not talking sports, we're talking businesses. Being able to adapt to the way culture and society is moving, and you know,
and not only adapting, but being able to see 5 years down the road,
forecasting. You know, like you got to be a meteorologist in this business too, and you have to be able to forecast, and you have to say, all right, listen, what direction is the sport heading in that's going to allow us to survive and still be relevant 5 years from now. And I could tell you, like, one of the things, it's no secret for us, but in order for us to have a business the next 5 years from now, it's not going to be predicated on whether or not dual division is the biggest conversation piece. It's going to be whether or not we can pique the interest of the youth, the kids, the 7, the 8, the 9, the 10, the 11-year-old, like, because they're the ones 5-10 years from now that's going to be of age to be playing in this game. So if we're not making anything that's appealing to them, or finding ways to connect with them now, 10 years from now, we'll be Blockbuster too.
Facts.
You feel what I'm saying? And, you know,
and I will say that's been something we've been definitely discussing for the past couple of years. And like you said, there's been steps that's been taken to try to draw in that demographic that we're looking for, that we're going to need to be able to sustain this game. For sure.
We've already taken the first step through creating US Kickball, which is our nonprofit youth organization that's going to serve as the overarching governing body for, we believe, all things kickball, right? The rules, the set of rules that's going to be played, the intramural programs, the elementary schools that we're entering, the high schools, like instituting this in your curriculum as the one of the recreational sports that is US Kickball is going to serve as that. Turf wars will fall under that US Kickball umbrella and be sanctioned by US Kickball. But these are going to be our first strides, right, to making sure that 5-10 years from now, we have something to show for this cute ESPN stuff that we did, right? Like, because all that's going to happen 10 years from now is people gonna be like, man, nobody did it like Turf Wars did it. I remember when. Now you couldn't appreciate us in a moment, but when time has gone and nothing like this in your mind comes along again, just like we see with the blockbusters, then that's when you'll get your flowers. Well, those flowers to me, they ain't good enough. They ain't gonna smell good enough. There has to be something to show for what we're doing today. And that's why, seeds are being planted now, things are being done now, and strides are being taken now to make sure that, when my sons get of age, there's something to show for what daddy did.
For sure. For sure. Like I
You
said,
know?
there's no greater feeling to, like I said, my son, and I might end up posting this picture. My son took a picture of my grandkids watching me and watching kickball on TV.
That's gonna be something that nobody can ever take away from them. You know what I'm saying? And that think about the impact it's having on them.
Not only that, but think about when you first started playing kickball, how it was just a running joke.
Yeah.
You do what? You play what? What do you mean y'all practice? What do you mean you traveling here to go play kickball?
But what's crazy now? You want to know what you want? This is real shit. Now when I tell people, when they ask me, like when I was at the hotel, when I was at the Omni, I was at the bar, and I'm wearing my Turf War shirt, and so there's some women's, they're sitting at the bar, and they we strike up a conversation. They start talking to me. When I mention kickball to them, now I'm hearing, oh, I saw that on TV. Oh, you mean like that? Like I get that a lot now. Oh, like you mean like the kickball on TV now? And my response is so clean. It's like, yeah, that's us. I don't ever have to be like, oh yeah, that's a group that does something like we do, or yeah, we do something. No, if you saw the shit on TV, that's us.
Yeah.
And so, but now, like, it's not. What's funny is when we were in Arizona, Samir can tell you about this. We went to DSG, right? Went Dick's Sporting Goods, and I'm in there just loading my cart up with all type of stuff, like bases and umpire shirts that I was getting last minute to put. I'm loading up the cart, and we get to the checkout counter, and the guy who's scanning our stuff, he's looking and he's like, "What you guys got going on today? Like, you got a baseball game or something?" And he's scanning the stuff. So we're like, "Nah, kickball." And it's like, "Oh, kickball." He's like, "Man," he's like, "Yeah, I see that all the time on social media. They do that stupid bunch shit." Like, and I'm thinking to myself, like, you're probably talking about us because, like, our videos just circulating like daily, right? And like that's and so like he scans the stuff, and as we're leaving out, I'm like, I can guarantee you he's one of the guys that be in the comment section. Like, I can guarantee you. But like stuff like that though, right? But like I say that to say, like, for him to be scanning us out, and when we tell him about what we're doing, and he immediately resonates with him because he's been exposed to it. Because obviously, whether it was our content or not, the reach is now reaching so many people that even they're seeing, you know what I'm saying? So, because before the response may have been like, oh, I haven't done that since I was a kid. But his response, because he's been exposed to it through massive exposure that we're generating through the social media, he's like, oh, you mean to tell me how they constantly bunt? Like, he's beyond the fact that it was being played as a child. He's looking at the way the game is playing now through the exposure that we've been able to generate. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, so we I think we're definitely, heading in the right direction in terms of helping get the games out to the masses. And my goal is I want us to be, adjacent to the Savannah Bananas, to Banana Ball. They're selling out arenas, they're selling out stadiums, they're, doing all of that. I'm pretty sure 15 years ago, people laughed at the idea of the pitcher, doing the Dougie before he pitched. I'm sure that there's so many, traditional baseball players that say, oh, that's not real baseball. But now there's not an arena or a stadium in the United States of America that they can't sell out. Right? So I think we have a huge opportunity ahead of us.
Yeah, yeah. Just stay focused, keep your eyes on the prize, and keep it moving, big dog.
Yeah, we can't pull no Rashad Bilal, man. We can't do that, man. You know, we gotta stay focused, and we, can't do that.
For sure. So let's go ahead and talk about the teams that won on Saturday, right quick.
Yeah, Saturday our champions were for co-ed advance. We had Deja Vu. Shout outs to Deja Vu too, because right now, I mean, what's understood doesn't need to be said, but it's going to be said. They're dominating right now, advanced kickball. And granted, the number of teams that we saw in the past, whether it was our organization or other organizations, the number of teams present in the advanced division are not as many teams. We're not going to give backhand compliments. They're playing who's in front of them, and they're dominating right now. And I believe that this is what number 3 this year for them already. I know they won Gatlinburg. I know they won. Um, they just won Orlando. They won um Tampa. Um, and so they and I may be missing a few, but they're really doing their thing, and they're holding it down for advanced division right now.
Well,
And congratulations to
I'll
them.
tell you this: they won our Midnight Madness this
Yeah,
year,
yeah.
and
And
they
so
also won Legacy called Elite Co-ed in Charlotte.
yeah, and so congratulations to them. For winning, and then we
And I
had for
feel
co.
and I be feeling bad because I'm gonna tell you as an owner I feel bad because they keep winning, and when I come and present them the trophy and money, it's just like at this point it's like here I don't even have no
Yeah,
speech for them no more because I done ran out of speeches. You know what I'm saying? I just be like, here, congratulations. See y'all at the next one. And
yeah, man.
like that's it. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, and so they won. And then I also think we got a guest backstage too, just so that you know.
Oh yeah. I seen. I
Okay,
seen. That's why I'm
okay,
trying to move on so we can get to
okay.
them.
All right, cool. So yeah, and then our co-ed intermediate, we have rec, and
That was a
and
good
and right
game.
now, yeah, that was a good game. And shout outs to Carolina Royalty too, because
Absolutely.
Carolina Royalty, they've been in it for a while, and I've seen them go through the trenches, and I've seen those tournaments where Carolina Royalty didn't even make it out of pool play. I've seen that, but these are the formulas and the ingredients that are necessary to get over the hump. When you stick together and you don't allow anything to break up the union and the team, eventually you'll get over that hump. I'm not going to talk about them right now real quick. I want to talk about Rec real quick, because I think what's to be highlighted about Rec, this is their third championship turf wars this year alone. They won New York, they won Gatlinburg, and they just won this one. And I think, them being 3-time champions, they're on to something right now. They're cooking right now. They're
Right.
cooking right now. And so shout outs to them for the job well done. And then going back to Carolina Royalty, one of the things that I saw is there was a questionable call made during that game for the championship. And I know that there was some frustration. Obviously, there's no side there's gonna be a side that's frustrated, regardless of how that call was called. Let's get that clear, right? But what it reminded me of is there was a few years ago where Deja Vu was playing in Richmond, and there was a questionable call made in that championship game where they ended up losing.
Right.
And ever since that time, Deja Vu has been coasting. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if it was that play that kind of just changed their mentality, or if it was that play that, I don't know, but they've really been on it ever since that time. And I feel like that was a defining moment for them. So, what I will say is that there may be tough breaks during an event or during a tournament that doesn't go your way, but it could serve as the catalyst or the defining moment for where your team elects to take it from there. But those were
Absolutely.
our two champions on Saturday. And then Sunday, I'll talk about them. I know you want to talk about men's, and then we got backstage. Sunday, our champion. Oh, and then we had the redemption bracket too. Can't forget the redemption bracket. We had pitch don't kill my vibe. We always say it ain't how you start, it's how you finish. So our bottom 4 finishers, we give them an opportunity to redeem themselves, and so they were the redeemed team of the event. They came out, they finished off strong, even though they ain't start strong. Pitch don't kill my vibe. So shout out to them. On Sunday, we had our women's championship between Girl Gang and Turfside, and Turfside ended up winning that. ended up winning that game. Shout outs to them. This is their second championship of the year. They won Tampa earlier this year. And then our other ladies who won the redemption bracket was the Kickamaniacs. So those young ladies, they won, and they were the redeem team, and that's how the weekend unfolded.
Yeah, and as far as men's go, I definitely want to give a special shout out to all those players that it didn't seem like it was going to happen, but again, it's one of them things where you just got to keep working at it, got to keep grinding it. And I was getting calls even that morning. Is the tournament still going to happen? I don't see nobody out here. And then magically, at the time of the game, everybody showed up and they was able to play. And TBD was the team that ended up winning. But shout out to them and Deja Vu. That was a great game. And shout out to what's my man Cody's team?
I forgot. Was it Rolling Bunts or something like that?
Rolling Blunts, yeah. Rolling Bunts. Shout out to them, man, because again, it's one of them things where everything is going to be all right. Everything is going to be all right. It might not seem like it's going to happen. I was even having calls and meeting with players 11 to 12 o'clock midnight Saturday night. You sure it's going to happen? Yeah, just be there at the time you're supposed to play. We're going to play.
I was nervous, man. I was nervous. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I was like, yo, how you looking? He was like, yo, we can get there. I'm like, oh no, I don't know, GP, but yeah, you made it work.
Somehow, some way, man, we just, by God's grace, man, we made it through, and we was able to crown a champion with TBD. Congratulations to them, and Deja Vu was a great game, and like I said, congratulations to Cody and Rolling Months for coming out there and playing a great game all day.
Yeah.
But that's Orlando, man. I had a great time, man. And again, I know we spent a lot of time on talking about logistics and what went into it in order for it to happen, just to give, some people a little behind the scenes view of the things that they don't see. And if they don't see it, it's that means we're doing our job.
Yeah, and doing the job well, man. But yeah, it was a great weekend. I was very pleased, and obviously we got Charlotte coming up next, but we got some guests backstage, and they pulled off a dope experience this past weekend too. And I know we wanted to get them on last weekend, but they had so many moving parts. I think this weekend is a better time to bring them on. So
I'm glad. And this is not the first time he's been on here. I got Mike down in Houston. I'm about to add him to the stage.
Man, Mike, man, this man GP was running his mouth the whole damn time. Had you backstage for a whole 2 hours, man, over here just running. I should have said, oh yeah, that's dope. That means for you to wrap that shit up. I'm keeping that. Man, you been
running. Man, I was at football practice.
Hey, first of all, man, what's going on down in Texas, man? Y'all done made THC illegal and shit. Y'all trying to lock motherfuckers up for a long time for a blunt. What's going on down there? Y'all all right?
It hasn't stopped anything.
Okay. Well, just know as long as you know what the motherfucking consequence is gonna be, that's on you.
Man, they doing that in Texas?
Man.
That's the rumor.
Oh man, yeah, that's crazy. All right, so Mike, welcome to the Winner Circle podcast. Mike with HTX,
Houston in the building.
Yeah, kickball league out of Houston. Obviously, and we got a lot of new viewers joining in. We got our YouTube channel check kicking in and stuff like that too. So, want to be fully transparent about who's doing what. Mike with HTX out of Houston. Y'all just got done doing an event yourself this past weekend, hosting what seemed to be an extremely dope tournament that happened. So we definitely wanted to get you and AJ on here, but I know he probably wasn't able to join us, just to kind of share with us a little bit about the experience and kind of talk to us about what that was like, kind of the mindset that went into it, kind of how it all came about. I think we've been seeing the videos and stuff, and a lot of people is interested and want to know.
Yeah.
So right quick before you start, excuse me because I done ran out of drink, so I'm about to go pour me another one. But by all means, my brother, keep it going.
You want me to go ahead and start?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, I mean, the tournament that we had, it wasn't really pre-planned. It kind of fell in my lap a little bit. The people that own the ranch, their kids play football with my kids. And so
Okay.
she was trying to get kickball at her ranch because it's a baseball facility. And I looked at all the stuff that they had and everything that they had to offer. I was actually in Florida at the time at track nationals with my kids. And, I talked to her on the phone and, hey, I said, let's do it. And so, we haven't had a tournament in 4 years, like a real tournament. And so for this one, we took a little trip up there, and stayed up there and looked at everything, and we had never seen anything like it. So we said we got to have a tournament there, and so we just went to work.
So when you say you ain't never seen anything like it, what does that mean? What did this facility have to offer that you had never seen anything like?
Okay, well, I'll tell you how our tournament was. So the facility that we went to, it had 27 cabins on it, so you could stay there. You could rent cabins, stay on a 100-acre ranch. It had a lake. It had an arcade. It had a restaurant, an ice cream parlor, a bike trail. It had a pool. It had 3 bars, 14 public restrooms. I mean, the cabins were brand new on the inside. They had, it was nice. You could fit 5 people in a cabin. One of them you could fit 14. Another one you could fit
Jesus.
15.
Damn.
So I saw all of that, and then I looked at the fields. The fields were turf, infield. There were 4 of them, and we don't need a whole lot of fields for what we do, but we're all about efficiency. So for this tournament, I think we had a total of 17 teams, and a lot of the teams that we know weren't even there. So
Nice.
it could have been a lot more. But basically, the way it was, if you go to each particular field, it's covered seating. There were fans in the dugout. There were cushion seats with cup holders. We could control the scoreboards from tablets. They had electronic scoreboards on every field. It was just a lot of stuff we had never seen, and it was just the pictures don't even really do it justice. You kind of have to be there.
Right.
So
Yeah.
the way our event worked, we had Friday we had a pool party. We had a DJ there. We had, there's a bar at the pool. So that's just how we started the weekend. And man, after the pool party, you don't go home. You're there. There's nobody within probably 20 miles of us. We're in the country in the middle of nowhere. But the ranch is 100 acres. People brought their kids. It was dope. And so, we had the pool party, and then the next morning, we had a co-ed tournament, and we did that, and we were done by 3 because, like I said, we're running off of efficiency. We had 4 fields working at once. We did everything there was totally digital. There was no exchanging of cash. There was no real paper exchange. Everything, even your room key, automatically opened through Bluetooth, or you could punch a code in. You could be sitting there in the stands eating food from the restaurant, and they'll bring it to you off a QR code. So
That's
that
and
was
you know
cool.
that's what I'm glad that you mentioned that, because as you were talking about some of the amenities in the beginning, my next question was going to be like, from a technology standpoint, can you dive a little bit into that? But kind of like how you're sharing, like just like the room key, the digital room key, and things like that. Yeah. So I mean, obviously, an experience like this that you guys have created, I think it probably set the tone and kind of really kind of put y'all in a position in terms of premium experiences that you're offering, right?
Mhm.
What were some of the things that you would say was the highlight for you personally for this event?
For me personally, the fact that I like the fact that there were no cars allowed on the ranch.
Okay.
They had parking lot, and you could park there, and then they had a VIP parking for people that were staying there. With also has a gate code to get in. You drove golf carts all over the place. So we're riding golf carts everywhere. They had free
Wow.
bikes that the kids could ride. The kids are
That's
riding free.
crazy.
There's no cars allowed. You could go fishing. There was a lake. So we're doing all that, but from a technology standpoint, um, if you're at the restaurant, which is right behind the fields, you could go in there and get something to eat, and they're streaming all four fields from the restaurant. You can see what's
Wow.
happening in all the games and
That's
look at the
crazy.
scores. Just look at it all happening.
That's
You can
crazy.
go to the store and buy, they had a store that sold merchandise. You can go buy stuff in there. You're looking at kickball games on the TV. And it's the games
You know what?
outside.
You know what's crazy about it? It's like I feel like well, it's not crazy, but I feel like as we start to progress in kind of just like the new facilities that's being built across the United States of America, everyone should visit this facility that you just explained and described and make sure that whatever they're building moving forward has these elements and amenities built into it because I mean it just sounds like almost too good to be true.
That's what
In
we
terms of
initially thought
yeah,
when
it
we.
almost sounds too good to be true.
That's why we had to go down there when we first talked about it. People were saying, "Oh, that's AI. It's not real." And we went down there and stayed there, and man, it's real.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah.
So
also from the technology, go ahead.
if you had a kickball at a kickball tournament at your house, just say that. You ain't got to be humble and say it was a ranch. It's your house, man. It's okay.
No, it wasn't
Yeah,
at
it
my
was his
house.
house. It was his house.
But no, we also brought some of our own technology. So we have a company that we're partnering with to do stats, and
Mhm.
they provided statistics during the tournament to where they could track players' offensive and defensive statistics and generate an MVP. So that was pretty cool.
No, that's dope.
Yeah, that's super
And
dope. And yeah, that's something that I think that more organizations could benefit from is having that type of technology instituted in the experiences so that players moving forward, regardless of where they go and where they play, they're able to keep track of that. I love the fact that you guys were able to implement that
So,
into the experience.
where you go?
I'm here.
Oh, okay, okay. So I got a question for you, Mike.
I know
How
you
how
do.
far how far is that from the nearest airport, and what does that drive to that ranch look like?
Okay. Well, it is. There's an area in Texas I always talk about. It's called the Texas Triangle, and it's the area. It makes a literal triangle, but there's about 24 million people within 2 hours of this facility, and it's right in the middle of that. So the closest airport was probably Austin. It's about an hour away. Houston is about an hour away too. It's 62 miles from my house. Now, if
Okay,
you live on the other side of Houston, on the south side, it's going to take you probably about an hour longer. But for me, I can get there in an hour. Austin is about an hour. San Antonio is about an hour and a half. Dallas is about maybe 2 hours.
okay.
So it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but it's close to everything.
In the middle of nowhere, but also in the middle of everything.
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope.
Hmm.
So we
So
had
let me ask
teams
you.
from all over pretty much.
So let me ask you a question, Mike. Got a question for you.
What's that?
How do you believe, or how do you feel the players felt about this experience? Do you feel like they appreciated it? Do you feel like they embraced it, or do you feel like it was just an experience where it was like, these come a dime a dozen? What was your take on how the players felt about
Nah, they've never experienced nothing like this.
it? Mm,
I've never experienced nothing like this. And, I everybody I talked to loved it. I
nice.
felt like we were there for a week because the first night nobody went to bed till 4:30
Mm,
Yeesh.
and got up and played kickball. The next day it was about, man, they were singing karaoke at 3:30 in the middle of nowhere outside. So they had a good time. They you ask anybody, I find somebody who said they didn't have a good time. I bet you won't. They had a good time. So to me, it was a game changer. I don't even think I was ready to leave. And the late checkout, man, I went back to the pool before I left.
Man,
You
man.
know, and we ran it in a way that not saying this because it's my tournament, but it was probably the most efficiently ran tournament that I've experienced.
Mm.
Being a player and a person that's been to probably 60 or 70 tournaments,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we thought of everything that we wanted at a tournament, and we just
Mm-hmm.
that's what it was. You know,
Mm-hmm.
we didn't want to be out there all day. We wanted to be
Right.
done. So
Mm-hmm.
hey,
So you can enjoy the amenities of the
so we
range.
Enjoy
can
the
enjoy the
amenities.
amenities
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
a lot of times when we travel, we're not just traveling to play kickball. I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I want to play kickball, but I want to have fun. I want to enjoy what I'm
What the
doing.
city has to
So
offer. Yeah.
yeah, so we were done probably between 3 and 4. I mean, championship over. You
Mm-hmm.
know, on Saturday. Same thing on Sunday. We didn't start till 9 either. And
Mm.
you know, we got back to what we were doing. So it was a good experience. You know, you drive about an hour, and you just never really leave the tournament. You're just there.
You know, an hour's not even a long drive, though. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
No.
I
It's really
drive an hour to
not.
just to go to my sister's house.
Yeah, an hour's not a long drive. But by the time
Shit, I sit
you
in
make it,
traffic for an hour going to work.
yeah, you get 15 minutes into your commute. You only got 45 minutes left. It's not a long drive at all, man. Hour's not a long drive at all. Um, yeah. So I know that you mentioned efficiency of the tournament. And then the next thing that you followed up with was you said, hey, our championship started around 3, 4 o'clock. So talk to us about the championship. Who were our winners this weekend?
Okay, so I'll tell you kind of what the format was. We did co-ed on Saturday, and we had a team from Houston called Strike Force that played a team from Austin called the Ball Fondlers.
Strike Force. Well, are they from Pennsylvania? Is that
No, they're from
No
Houston.
Pennsylvania team will ever come win a tournament in Texas. First of all,
Ah,
okay.
Talon,
No,
Talon.
they
there's a strike force out of PA, and
no. This is a
okay,
Houston team. I never heard of
got you.
them.
Okay,
It's a
okay,
Houston
got you.
team.
Mhm.
So it was all Texas teams. Although there were players from out of state here. I think we had a DC person that came. We had a North Carolina person. We had a Milwaukee person. So we
Mhm.
had a few people, but all the teams were from Texas. They were from about half were from Houston, and the rest were from Austin and towns in between Austin and San Antonio. So that's where the teams are from. So Strike Force won the championship against the Ball Fondlers from Austin. That was in co-ed. And in women's, you had the Chickaholics played against another team from Houston called Chaos Crew, and they won the championship for women. And for men, we had the Raw Dogs. They
Raw
played
dog.
against a team called the Ex Renegades in the men's 8 versus 8 championship.
That's what's up.
And then we gave trophies to the winners. We gave rings for first place and second place. And man, we went back to having fun.
Nice,
And
nice.
then there were other sports offered there too. So, when we're not playing kickball, they were playing pickleball till 4 o'clock in the morning, volleyball till 3 o'clock in the morning.
That would have been
You ain't
me.
had, you ain't had nobody playing cornhole because I'll come
Yes, we
down there and
did.
clean up.
Yes, we
I'd have been,
did.
look, I'd have been so GP can tell you about how I get down in volleyball. When we played in
I,
Auburn, I'm like that. I am like that. And then
that's not what I heard, Ariane.
Fucking ball hog, man. That motherfucker be thinking volleyball is a single person sport.
yo, like Mike, I'm like that in volleyball, and then in pickleball, I'm like that for real. On some real shit, I'm really like that in pickleball though. No lie. No lie. I'm really like that. I'm really like that. I'm really like that in pickleball.
I'm definitely gonna have to come down here and make the next one.
Yeah, I'm
I've never been to Houston before anyway, so that's always a bucket list for me.
Well, you just got married. You probably don't need to come to Houston.
Well, I could bring her.
Oh, okay.
No,
Go
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. For the first one anyway.
yeah.
For sure.
But no, I mean, you know, I think that, you know, based off of what you shared about just kind of like the experience, it sounds like one that um you got to spin the block on, right? And so for something like this, man, you know, it's hard to imagine that this is going to be a one and done.
Right.
No.
You know, I'm sure there's something in the pipeline where, you know, in the future there's going to be some intention on kind of like bringing it back, bringing that experience back. But man, congratulations to you guys on um being able to kind of deliver and create this type of experience for especially that Texas community, because you know, we see them travel a lot. We don't really see many tournaments happening in the state of Texas like that. And so being able to not only deliver um a tournament but a high end type of experience, I think is, you know, something that that community definitely deserves. And so hats off to you guys for being able to pull that off and deliver that.
Absolutely, man. And also congratulations on being forward thinkers, because it's one thing, like you said, it's one thing about the game of kickball that everybody want to compete at a high level, but at the same time, you have other events that surround. It's just not about kickball either. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you made it a point to have or select a place that offered other amenities for people who may not be in the kickball. They can take part of everything else that was going on at the ranch, like you said, fishing, pool, whatever. And I think at some point that's probably where the game of kickball is heading. It's not only about the game; it's going to be about the things that's going to be planned around the game as well, the atmosphere and the overall experience as a whole.
Yeah, I agree. And then our company is not just like we do kickball now, but we're branching into other sports. So, you
Yeah.
know, it was good to get a taste of some other stuff because we got other stuff coming.
That's what's up, man. Hey, Aaron, we might have to put a team together, man, and go down there and then take that shit back.
Oh man,
Because
that
Houston, because Houston did really think they like that. I don't mind coming down into their trap and taking their money and taking their trophy and coming on back home with it.
and look, if you want to run with the Mambas, we got a spot
No,
open.
no, we got to figure out another team name.
Shit, there ain't gonna be no other team name if
I
you
ain't
ain't.
playing.
Oh shit, man.
Shit me.
Well, I guess
These
I'll be
leagues
going.
ain't no good.
Yeah, I'll be going. Hey, man, look. Honestly, if you coach, if you willing to coach, we'll put a team together because
Oh,
I
that's
don't
oh
think
that's easy.
I don't think a lot of people realize how legendary of a coach you really was, like Coach K. Oh wait, real quick. This is completely off subject. This is completely just out of left field, but it just crossed my mind, and I gotta say, GP, before we lose like train of thought. Um, we lost a good brother in the
Mm,
kickball community,
mm,
and
mm.
I can't I don't even understand how we've been almost 2 hours into it without even acknowledging or mentioning him. Uh, I want to say rest in peace and rest in peace to our brother Kwame. Um, you
For
know,
sure.
personally, I had a chance to get to know Kwame here in Charlotte. Him and I think the reason why I thought about it is because I was talking about coaching and
Right.
and I, you know, we coached the team together. He coached the team in my women's league. And then we stayed connected even when he moved back to DC. He was a vendor at our Turf Wars tournament in Maryland. He used to do all of our events here in Charlotte. And you know, they say, you know, the good die young, and we lost a dope soul. You know, over the past few days, and my thoughts and prayers go out to his family, his wife, his loved ones.
For sure.
Yeah, but I know that it came out of nowhere, but I just wanted to say rest in peace to Kwame and
Absolutely.
yeah.
Because he made an impeccable impact in the game of kickball up here in DC, and he ended up moving down to Charlotte, and he made an impact in Charlotte kickball as well. That's how you know what I'm saying, that's a good dude. He's able to make an impact as far as this game goes and everything else he was doing as well, no matter where he went. And it's a funny story that we was talking about one day. Me and you was just on the phone. I was like, man, whatever happened to Kwame? Because I hadn't seen him in a long time.
Mhm.
And I was used to seeing him at events, being a vendor or something like that. And me and you had a conversation. I was like, man, whatever happened to Kwame? And the very next day, I went to this. They had like a little music fest. It was a 50 years of go-go. And I'm walking through, and I just look up, and he's a vendor there. And I was like, damn, I was just talking to Arion about you yesterday. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I'm upset about, because I said I was going to make my way around the event because it was so many people out there. I said, but I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna find them, and I'm gonna take a picture so I can send it to Arion. But it was so many people out there, I didn't run into him again, and that was actually my last time seeing him. So I mean, that just goes to show, man, tomorrow is never promised, man. The things that you can do today, make it your way to do it today, because tomorrow is a promise, man, for sure.
Yep.
And the way things are going now, man, like, yeah. The shit is crazy, man. So you gotta appreciate every day that you're on this earth. Live it like it's your last, because you just never know. You know what I'm saying? I was able to celebrate. I know Aaron gonna say some shit. My 52nd birthday last week, and you know, it's 52 years go by real fast, and I appreciate. And I've been living it. For the past 10 years. I've really been living life and loving it, for sure.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that we talked about early in the call, is like, man, you know, just blessed and fortunate that the goal is to grow old. You know, that's the plan, that's the goal. And you know, like you know, we lost an incredible soul too early. So I just wanted to say rest in peace to our brother Kwame, and again, our thoughts and prayers are with his family.
For sure.
And I guess, you know, there's really no proper way to even segue into another conversation after you you speak about that. But I think there's gonna be moments where we could, you know, properly acknowledge him and the life he lived, you know,
and his contribution.
His contributions to the game, you know, and do it more eloquently than how we did. You know, I hate that I just randomly thought about it. But as we try to segue and shift from that part of that mention, Mike, I know that you know we kind of briefly was just kind of talking about just kind of how dope that was for you guys to bring and deliver that type of experience to Houston for that community, and then, you know, kind of seeing something like that happen in the forecast. And so, not that it's something that you know, we feel obligated for you to share, but do you see something like that being reintroduced this year, next year? You know, where in your mind, in terms of vague, like you see, hey, you know, we're gonna bring this back 2027, or you know, we plan to see about reintroducing this in 2026. What are your thoughts on that?
Both.
Okay. Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if it happens this year. It'll definitely happen next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, just let us know so we can make sure, you know, we put together something. Come down there and take y'all money.
Y'all ain't taking nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, come on down.
Yeah. I'm coming, and I'm winning. Coming and I'm winning. I'm coming. I'm taking it off of the, and I'm winning volleyball. I'm winning pickleball. I'm winning cornhole. I'm winning kickball. I'm a quadruple up.
Yeah, come on down. I see y'all didn't mention football. I know why.
Y'all weren't playing football out there.
We're always playing football.
I come. Well, I'm not a football guy. Clearly,
I know.
Yeah, clearly. Yeah, I mean, clearly, I'm not a football player. Right? I'm just not a football player. But all the other sports, yeah, we in that.
No, we'll play whatever, man.
Yeah. And so, aside from this, what's next for ACX? What's next for you guys in terms of local league play? What's next on the agenda?
We'll probably do. You know, we kind of move. We kind of go with the flow. You know, if we have teams getting ready to go somewhere, we'll kind of gear our leagues around that. You know, if people are going to play advanced kickball, we'll run advanced leagues. If they're not, then, you know, we'll run intermediate leagues. Or if nobody's doing nothing, we may not. But I see tournaments and leagues coming soon, and I see other sports coming soon too.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's I know personally that's dope. You know, an experience like what you shared You know, I don't get the luxury of um so one of the things that I kind of was thinking about is like hobbies, right? Like you, myself, and GP, and I put AJ into that category. We came into this thing and we made kickball one of our hobbies, right? We played at some point or another. We were attracted to the game as a player, and we at some point or another made it our hobby. And somewhere along the lines, it transitioned from it being a hobby for us to it being a business. And now that it's become a business, we lost a hobby in the process. And we lost that thing that we enjoyed doing so much because we now focus on the business aspect of it. So much so to the point where personally, I can't tell you any hobbies that I have right now because I'm pouring so much into the business. And so I say that to say that experiences like what you shared in terms of what you guys were able to deliver this past weekend brings me to a moment of where I want to experience that as a player myself, because that was something that I remember enjoying the game and enjoying it in that type of setting. I believe would be at the highest level, you know, like being able to have an all-in-one type of experience with the cabin, with the games, with the pickleball, because I'm a big kid at heart, right? So like I definitely feel like if you guys do that again, it's certainly something that I would want to be a part of as a player. I can say that.
Well, I will say this about our staff, and this is our umpires, AJ, Bree, Aisha. They are all currently kickball players. I'm the only one who doesn't play right now.
Right.
So
Right.
they're still doing both.
It's still getting that fixed, right? Okay. Well, so I would
Yeah.
say then you, myself, and GP, like, you know, we're not out there actively like that. Once in a blue, I'll get out there and I'll play a few innings, a game or two, in the most random of randomest settings. But when you talk about a true hobby that, you know, that brought us to where we are right now, like we made the game a hobby and now we're here. Um, it's like we forfeited that hobby to build a business, and it had to have been a pretty fun hobby for us to make it a business, is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So like
For sure.
in moments like this, when I'm hearing about experiences like this, I'm like, man, like I want to do that. You know, I want to get back into that and play and experience that. So I guess in short, we can come out there and just win it all, GP. I guess that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, come on down.
You know.
Slight work.
Yeah, yeah. You know, so yeah. Yeah. But local leagues, you say you got coming. This is probably gonna look at doing this again 2026 and 2027. Um and you know, it's definitely something that I think if the ranch knows any better, Mike, they may want to start building some more fields, because it looks like the next time y'all do it, is one or two things gonna happen. Number one, you might have to put a cap on the number of teams that you invite. Or number two, they got to build some more field. Or number three, you're gonna have to run a bit longer, because you just got that many more teams that are seeing what they seen and want in on the experience.
I want to experience it.
Yeah, so
Sure.
it may be one of those things where you may have to start it on a Wednesday and get teams in on a Wednesday. Come in Thursday, get out Friday. Come in Friday, get out Saturday. But yeah, it's gonna.
Well, that's already in the works. So they're
Okay.
already building more cabins and they're
Yeah.
building more fields.
Okay. Yeah. So
So
then that's the
it's happening.
Okay, so it's happening. No, so okay. Okay. The GP, you got anything else? Did we talk about Sunday? We talked about Sunday champions?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
We did men's and women's on Sunday.
So no, actually, I do have a question. It just came back to me. As far as HCX kickball, what is the one of the different rules that I would say in turf wars or in other kickball leagues that you guys use that other leagues may not do? Because I see I see the difference in the ball.
What's the difference?
Is it with the soccer balls, so to speak,
No.
the smaller ball?
HTX has never played with a soccer ball.
Okay.
We play with the same ball you play with. Now we know how to play with the soccer ball. That's where we started, most of us. But no, we play. Our league was created to prepare us to go play out of town. So our
And the
rules
rules are
aren't.
pretty much the same. Button.
Yeah, we do
Okay.
Marion. We do all of that stuff.
Okay.
Damn, boy, you don't know shit, man.
That's why I'm asking. It's not for me. It's for people who don't know.
Yeah, 5 years later. Hi, GP.
Yeah,
I'm Mike.
yeah, man. Hi, Mr. Man. And GP don't know shit, man. Nah, that's all right there, man. And you know, one of the things I was talking about, Mike, is kind of like how I know personally on a lot of our pages, like we get people that reach out and they're asking us about just like different organizations and different or like if we're in certain cities. And Texas is always one of those cities where we're always seeming to get people reaching out like, are you guys in Texas? Are you guys in Houston? Are you guys in Houston? So you know, we got to be more intentional about making sure that anytime those leads come our way, we're guiding them and sending them to you guys,
the right place. Yeah,
to ACX, so that we can make sure that we're sending them in good hands, you know. So
for sure.
yeah, man. But you got anything? GP?
Nah. I'm already formulating my team already. Go ahead.
Yeah. That's gonna be easy money, man. We're gonna put a team together and we're gonna get it cracking, man. It's easy money. Easy money.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
I'm gonna outfish y'all boys too.
No, you're not.
I know I'm bullshitting. I can't fish. But it sounds like it's fun though. I said I'm gonna go fishing. That's on my bucket list too.
I've never been fishing before.
For real?
Never been fishing. Don't even know how to work a fishing reel, man.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man.
We'll figure it out. Y'all don't got no gators. Y'all got gators down. Y'all don't got no gators down there in the lake, do you?
Nah, in Houston we do, but I don't think there's any near the ranch.
Never mind. Never mind. Fuck that.
Ain't no Houston had gators.
How, the Bayou City? You didn't know we had alligators?
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I guess I don't think about like when I think about Houston, for some reason I don't think about it being like near a coast. I always envision Houston being dead in the middle of Texas.
It's 30 miles from the ocean.
I know.
And about an hour from Louisiana.
Yeah, GP from Galveston.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Don't listen to him, man. No, I don't know. I'm not.
GP born and raised in Galveston, Texas. You can tell, man. But yeah, no. All right, so GP, real quick, man. What you got? What's up next for Legacy, man?
We got the Carter League. It's funny you said that because we do have two Houston teams coming to Carter League Atlanta. In September 19th and 20th. Mm-hmm. The 40 and over co-ed, 40 and under co-ed, 40 and over women's, 40 and under women's, and the men's. Co-ed is going to be at Silverback Park. Like you said, Silverback Park is like 20 minutes north of Atlanta Airport. It has a bar and grill right on the premises of the kickball field. So if in between games they're serving breakfast and all that, you want to go and grab something to eat, you want to buy you a pitcher of beers and bring it back, you can do that at Silverback Park in Atlanta. That's where the 40 and over and 40 and under co-ed is going to be. And on Sunday, we're moving women's and men's down to Mobile Field in Peachtree City, Georgia. And that's going to be 20 minutes south of the airport. So if you come in there and you get you a hotel or get your Airbnb, make sure you get it near the airport so that way you're close to both fields. Because we want to provide, like Mike and like Orlando, we want to provide a different experience each day for the actual kickball players to be able to partake in. So Call the Elite is coming up September 19th and 20th. And registration is definitely open. And like I said, we got two teams from Houston that's coming. and it's gonna be a nice event. We definitely have some stuff particularly catered toward more of the 40 and over with some of the games and the DJs that we got coming, but we're gonna make sure that the 40 and under have some fun too, though.
Yeah, yeah. It's gonna be dope. Atlanta's always a good time, and while y'all are in Atlanta that weekend doing 40 plus and you know living the life out there in Atlanta, we'll be in Salt Lake City, Utah that same weekend. You know what
Yep,
I'm saying? And so y'all gonna be occupying the East Coast. We'll be on the West Coast over on and what I can say about Salt Lake is Salt Lake is shaping out to be not as we intended in terms of teams. We are looking at nearly 16 Salt Lake teams, 16 teams in Salt Lake for that Saturday experience, and that's more than we've ever done in the city. But for us, the good thing about it is that's what planting seeds in markets and staying committed to those markets. That's what it gets you. And so
absolutely.
I'm super excited about I'm super excited about it, about Salt Lake.
Just like that, we well over our 2 hours, but I mean, I felt as though that everything that we discussed here was needed and necessary to talk about. There's other things that I definitely wanted to talk about as far as current events type shit, but we can save that for another time because there's always something going on in the current events. But as of right now, for kickball is concerned, you got Charlotte coming up in 2 weeks,
Yeah, we
right?
got Charlotte coming up in 2 weeks. Legacy Men's is going to be in Charlotte too.
Hmm.
Over 40 teams for that one. Charlotte. This is the birthplace of turf wars. This is where it all started for us. Same facility. We've been there for plenty of years. We got our meet and greet ironed out. We're gonna be putting a rundown out there relatively soon, probably with this week. We Red Bull is gonna be returning back. We just now signed off on the partnership with Trophy Smack today. So there may or may not be some Trophy Smack hardware that we're giving out for our home run wall challenge that we're going to be bringing back for this one. And so yeah, there's a lot of dope things that's going to be happening for Charlotte. This is honestly one of my favorite events of the year because it's home. It's it's again, it's the birthplace, and also too, this one is personal for me. There's a lot of bullshit that happened in Charlotte last year that I think um
Put a damper.
try to put a damper and taint the name of what we've built and tarnish our reputation, and it didn't work. You know what I'm saying? None of it worked, and this is going to be an opportunity for us to get out there and show um exactly what this event was built to be, what these experiences have consistently been over the years, and we get back to it. So
So, Mike, you haven't came up with dates for this year for the next one yet?
Nah, not yet.
How far out are you gonna announce it before you know?
I mean, as soon as I know, I'll announce it.
Okay, bet.
But
Bet.
we're working on it.
yeah, yeah. So it seems like a lot of cool things is happening in kickball right now. One of the things that I love that's happening right now is that um, as opposed to what we've seen in the past, we'll say what we're 2016, 2026, let's say 10 years ago. 10 years ago, the leaders of the community weren't um, we didn't see as many. Start there. We didn't see as many leaders in the community guiding and steering and moving the game in a direction that's being considered for everyone. And today, you fast forward 10 years later, you look at some of those that are leading kickball, in their respective markets, whether it's locally or at the national level. It just seems to be more of an effort to guide the game in a direction that unfortunately we didn't have an opportunity to experience 10 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And that's one of the beauty and one of the most beautiful things that I love about what I'm seeing right now as it relates to where the game is growing, you know, and I'll say that.
So where do you see it? Where do you see it 5 years from now?
Where I see it or where I hope to see it.
Well, I hope to see it. I'm asking you that, and I'm gonna ask Mike that as far as Houston kickball as well. Where do you see it 5 years from now?
The optimistic side,
because you done did some amazing shit in the first 5 years.
Yeah, no, I appreciate. Well,
it's almost like Usher's Confession CD. Like, how do you top that?
Yeah, the where I see the game in the next 5 years is one, you got to look at what we did in the first 5 years and view that as that's just the beginning. That's the mindset. We're just scratching the surface. If you look at the universe, this universe that we exist in, the community is really infinite. But we've only focused on such a small segmentation of this community that we're ignoring how much we can really grow it if we focus on what's outside of our community, if that makes sense, right? So, like, let's just say there's right now in the existing kickball pool or the existing kickball community, let's just say there's 10,000 players right now that are active within this community amongst all organizations. 10,000 represents a very small portion of the millions of people that are in the world right now. Right. And so once organizations collectively, we start to really kind of shift our focus on those millions of people as well and start pulling them in the next 5 years, kickball could very well be a major league sport. As far as fandom, as far as pro athletes getting paid to play, as far as, major sponsorship deals, it could very well be that. Or it can continue to be a sport that we play at the recreational level and continue to bicker about whether the fields are grass or turf. So, it could go one or two ways.
And those fields that you played down there, Mike, was that turf or was that grass?
Turf infield, grass outfield?
It's turf infield. I think it was Bermuda grass in the outfield.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we typically look for turf. I think we've only played on grass maybe once or twice in 5 years. So.
And what was the weather down there? What was the weather down there like for you?
Hot.
Okay.
August in Texas is hot.
The motherfucker, I already know. Okay.
Yeah. That's why the pool came in handy. But we were able to, we did pretty good on heat. Making sure everyone was hydrated. I employed my children, so they were like field managers, making sure the umpires had water. We had some of our teenagers controlling the scoreboards, so kind of kept everybody hydrated.
Yeah.
And all those buildings were full of air conditioning, so every building that you saw at that ranch was. You wanted AC, the arcade is right behind the field. The restaurant is right behind the field. And, step in there and get some AC. And you can still see the game even if you're in there. So that was cool.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm already putting that on my as soon as that announcement come out.
Yeah, I'm there.
Send me that link.
Yeah, we in there.
All right.
Yeah. I may have to bring we in there. We in there.
Varnell Hill.
Man, come on, man.
Oh, you gonna get to the catfish?
Yeah, man, Lake Barnell, catfish is delicious.
Catfish is delicious.
That Lake Barnell up there.
No, it was a good time.
Yeah.
All right, big dog. We ain't gonna hold you up that much longer. You already know how I go, man. I gotta go eat my dinner.
Yeah, me too, man. That boy about to go get his salad tossed.
Man, there you go. Same
whoa.
shit. Same shit. Them motherfuckers say the same shit every week. Same shit every week, man. But definitely, Mike, we definitely appreciate you coming on anytime. You're welcome to come on anytime and talk about what you got going on. And that's one thing about us in the Winner Circle, man. We don't mind sharing our platform with any and everybody to show what they got going on. If they want to come in and talk about upcoming events or tournaments, whatever, you know, this is a place to do it. We have no problem with doing that. For sure.
I appreciate it.
That boy's face. For sure. For sure. Anytime. Is Mike welcome anytime or not?
Absolutely. Yeah, I was the one that asked him to come on here. What you?
Yeah. Stop playing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sorry. I was looking at the screen on my computer because
No, you wasn't.
it's frozen, man.
Man, whatever, man. Whatever.
Nah, absolutely. You the entire Houston crew, AJ, man, y'all welcome on here anytime, man. It's always good conversation when y'all come on.
All right, fellas. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and clock out.
All right, man. I'm about to go eat my dinner, man.
All right, boy. Hey, y'all boys be safe, man, and y'all down in Texas, man. Y'all keep y'all head up, man. That THC, keep y'all head up.
And nobody in Texas give a shit about that.
All right.
At all.
You're the only one that care, man.
Hey, I'm just saying. I'm just saying what I'm reading. If I'm reading is wrong, okay, cool.
You out here reading news articles nobody care about, man.
Hey, one thing for sure. What I read, it's nothing I read. 60% of social media is AI. So don't believe none of that shit you talking about that people be talking about on there because they're not even real fucking people.
Yeah, I got scammed on some stuff because I damn sure been buying shit off the internet that I've been seeing AI sell months ago, and I'm still waiting on that shit to get delivered to my house.
Shit terrible, man.
Yeah, it's terrible. They selling all type of shit and got the AI commercial. I'm like, oh, that shit look convenient, and I'm buying that shit. That shit ain't coming to my house.
I ain't even gonna lie, motherfuckers tried to get us, man. The motherfucker said it was a organization out of Nigeria. They said we would love for Legacy Sports to be a part of here in Nigeria. All you need to do is send us $10,000, and Legacy Sports will be a part of what we got going on with kickball concern. I said, yeah, wait for that.
Yeah. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying shit. They tried it though.
For sure. For sure. All right, boys. Y'all boys be safe, man. I'll holler at y'all on the flip side.
All right, man.
All right.
All right.